Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Halton Hills housing update. So I definitely think we can assume that we are in a bit of a slowdown here. I thought the sales might spike this week, but we actually are staying pretty consistent week to week. I do think inventory continues to be a problem and we are still super busy for a November. So let's look at what happened last week in terms of the numbers. In Georgetown, we had 13 properties sell, which is up slightly, but that's still not a huge number compared to what we were seeing. And of those 13, 6 of them sold over asking. So we do still have a lot of bidding wars happening, but definitely it feels like it is cooling off a bit. The interesting thing is only 3 of those properties sold over $1 million, which normally would sound high, but like we've been talking about, our $1 million+ price point has really been driving the market. It has been going crazy. And so to see only 3 of the properties sell over $1 million, that price point is usually where we start to feel a downturn when the market cools off a bit. So having only 3 of the properties sell over $1 million could be an indicator of that. So in terms of new listings last week, we only had 12 new listings in Georgetown, which is not a lot of new listings, especially because we still do have quite a bit of buyer demand. So I think inventory is going to continue to be a problem for us. And now that we're approaching December, I think it's going to get even worse. In Acton this week, we only had 2 properties sell, which is not a big number there. If you've been following me, you know that Acton has been in a bit of an inventory predicament, like the lowest numbers we've seen all year. And we only had 2 new properties enter the market there this week. So inventory is definitely not catching up to the demand, like not even close in Acton. In Glen Williams, there was no sales and no new listings. In Limehouse, there was 1 property that sold, but no new listings. So another area of concern and signs that we might be in a bit of a downturn here is that the rural market for the 3rd week in a row has had no sales. So we talk about how when the in-town market is really busy, we see rural sales pick up because there's less options in town, so people start to look out. But with no sales in the rural market for the last 3 weeks, that is definitely giving us a sign that things are shifting a bit because we were seeing quite a few sales in the rural market. So there was 1 new listing in the rural market, but again, when we have no sales happening week after week, we definitely start to get concerned about what is happening in the overall market. So now let's look at the active inventory. We are down slightly this week to only 95 active listings. Our sold conditionals are up to 12, so there's only 83 properties technically available. In Georgetown this week, we have 54 active listings, which is the same number as last week, but the price points went up and down and sort of shifted. So when we look at our under 700,000 inventory, we are down significantly to only 8 listings. Last week, of the 13 sales, 8 of them were under 700,000. So we had a ton of sales in our opening price points. So I am not surprised to see only 8 active listings under 700,000 in Georgetown right now. The 700,000 to 800,000 is up quite a bit to 11 active listings, and those will likely be gone next week, but that price point took a huge jump this week. So a rare offering of 11 active listings in our tight price point of 700,000 to 800,000. Between 800 and $1 million is also up slightly to 13. Again, I anticipate that will drop again next week, always just kind of up and down in these price points. So no surprise, our $1 million+ listings are up to 22 active listings. That is still a very low number for that price point. But again, we didn't see a huge amount of sales that week compared to what we've been seeing the last 2 months in that price point. So I'm not surprised to see that inventory up slightly. So Acton's inventory this week remains super low at 8 active listings. No change from last week, but that is still a super low number for Acton. So not great news for the buyers there. So Glen Williams this week is down to 5 active listings. So something to keep in mind is throughout the week, we have properties that come off the market. They either suspend or they terminate for various reasons. So sometimes, even though we don't have sales, our inventory can drop in certain spots. And that's what happened in Glen Williams this week. In Limehouse, inventory is down to 3 active listings. So the same thing happened in the rural market this week where we saw some properties come off the market. So even though we didn't have any sales there again, we are down to 25 active listings there. So that's a decent number for rural, but if the buyers are finding what they need in town, our rural market definitely slows. So overall, I think we are still in a pretty strong November. We're still seeing double-digit sales. Our inventory is dropping, so that is still gonna drive things. It still feels busy out there. I'm still doing showings, listings are active, but I definitely think overall it is safe to say that we are slowing down slightly. I still don't think you're gonna get like deals on properties right now or anything, and I still don't think we're in like a crisis spot where our market is turning because of COVID. I don't know what the next like 6 months are going to look like, but I do know right now our November numbers are probably going to be way higher than 2019's. And I do think that we are still just in a seller's market where there just is not enough good stuff for buyers. So I'm definitely going to be keeping a close eye on the rural market and that $1 million+ price point in Georgetown, because those are usually indicators when there are a lot of sales there that the market is really strong. And with those things tailing off a bit, it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. So have a great week, everyone. And if you haven't seen my post for my local love giveaway, we are on day 5 of 7 today. So make sure you go to my Instagram and Facebook to enter that contest to help support some local small businesses this Christmas season. So I'll be back next Tuesday to see if we have any dramatic shifts in the market. Have a great week, everyone.